one of the things that came out with Dave Savage today on the Breakfast Club that he said, and that kind of stuck with me. I even asked him about it, and I think it's an important thing to talk about. Steve is he said he was being more strategic
Mm,
about asking for referrals, like
yeah,
and then I cornered him on that and said, "What do you mean by that? What do you
yeah,
mean being more strategic?" And and that is something that I think is important for us to kind of unpack a little bit. Um, because it can be when we ask for referral, it can be, "Hey, you happen to know anybody that needs my help?" Right? It can be
yeah,
that,
yeah.
right? Or it can be more defined of, "Do you happen to know anybody right now who's been talking about maybe buying or selling or refinance and that you can think of right now that I might be able to talk?" Being more strategic with it,
hmm
being more pointed with it, can certainly help. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love it. I 100% agree. Sometimes and I've been guilty of this. And look, language matters.
Hmm.
How we say it matters. I think where we say it matters. So the placement of the ask. But I also think this, when we're being strategic, if you have a call that doesn't have a desired result. So look, we were working through this yesterday with the Alliance. We get the great privilege of helping lead the Alliance groups. That's the coaching arm of what we do at the Mortgage Marketing Animals. And we talked about it yesterday. Every call has got to have a desired result. So let me get, and I'll go somewhere with this, but Frank, think about this. If I'm talking to an insurance agent, what would my desired result be? Introduce me to another great agent that might
Right.
have a need for a lender. If I'm talking to an escrow or fee attorney office, what's my desired result? And it's not just, hey, how you doing? It's
Right.
tell me about another top producing agent that maybe you heard something went wrong and they would be open to another
Yeah.
conversation that you could introduce us to. And you go down the whole list. I do that with my home inspector. Literally, I do it with my appraiser friends. I do it with every conversation I have that starts from 7:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. Every call has got to have a desired result. So you start with that and you say, okay, I'm calling this group. What would be the win? What would be the desired result? Second thing is this: there's only about three or four real ask for the business. Like Frank, one of them, and this is just one of the many. For an agent, we used to say this, and you said be strategic. I used to
Mm.
say this all the time, and man, my conversion quadrupled. I used to say things like, "Hey Frank, you're a top producing agent. Man, great talking to you today. Super glad you had a great weekend. Hey, well, listen, just keep me in mind for your next buyer deal."
Yeah. Very, very weak.
Very vague, very
Yeah.
like,
Keep me
and
in
you know what they'd always
mind.
say? They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
got you, I got you."
Sure.
But what changed everything is when we started saying, "Hey Frank, dude, wild success at your open house. Loved hearing that. Hey, quick question for you. Who do you have today
Mm.
that I could help?" That one phrase, who do you
Yeah.
have
Who do you have
today
today?
that
Mm-hmm.
I could help you get pre-approved to make sure it's a good use of your time this week? You
Mm-hmm.
got anybody today that I could help?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what happened is they're like, it triggers something. You know what it is, Frank? The way you ask can just be like a white noise or it
Mm-hmm.
can be a pattern interrupt. Because
Right.
when I say keep me in mind, that's just white noise.
White
But
noise,
when I
man.
say, hey, whoa, 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 who do you have today? And
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you stop and say, oh yeah, yeah. I ran in that guy last night, that hit my inbox and was referred by
Right.
my cousin Sally.
Right. Right.
And so when you're being strategic, because without a call to action, without a desired result, without asking for the business, we're just being busy. There's a great book called 10x is easier than 2x. Man, I love reading. And this book, I mean, if you summed it, everything summed it all up.
Mm.
In my opinion, what I got was this. It talked about the people struggle with quantity, not quality. And
Mm.
it doesn't mean we don't make a lot of calls, Frank. We make a lot of calls. We make a lot
Mm-hmm.
of prospecting. We
Mm-hmm.
have a theme. We got a process. We do 8 hours of outbound prospecting. But what it means is that I'm not trying to just make a bunch of calls that don't have a desired result,
Mm.
that aren't strategic in the ask for the business. You do better to have 10 talk tos a day where you strategically ask for the business in a cool way
Mm.
that absolutely gets results. And so that whole book was talking about quantity will drive you nuts. It's the quality that will
Mm.
help you scale your business. Because if I'm making, and Dave said this today, and I loved, the coined phrase high impact calls.
Mm.
He called it like the high impact 100 or something. I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
what it
The
was.
or the Impact 100 or something.
Impact,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
but I'm just sitting here saying, like, dude, high impact, high impact. And one
Mm.
of the ways I say it is I call them high value calls.
Mm.
And it just goes back to, you do better to do 10 high value calls a day than
Mm.
50 with no clear desired result or call to action. And Frank, it's not hard. In every industry, there's about three or four, five ways to say it. It's like, whether it's an objection, a rebuttal, there's never like 50. It's like three or
Yeah,
four.
right.
And
Yeah,
and so and that's something that we really work through in the marketing animals. And I'm so grateful. You've come up with some, I've come up with some over the years. Carl, my gosh, has some, and it's like this collaboration of great minds
yeah,
that are sharing what's working. And you know what? When you've got, probably, what do we have? 75 years experience
yeah.
between all of it, like just us three. I didn't include Chris Johnstone or
Right.
Dan or anybody else.
Right.
But I mean, 100 years experience, it's like, of course, the best ideas are going to rise
Mm.
to the top, and our
Yeah,
members. And so when I think about strategic, as for the business, I think you got to know there's a desired result.
right.
You got to understand what the ask is. You've got to make sure that you're asking every time for the business. And when you do that, you're going to see big results.
Yeah, I
So
just I just think for everybody watching or listening, um, I hope this is inspirational for you on your next round of calls, whatever they're going to be, whether it's to your past clients or to realtor partners or to third parties, like Steve was saying, home inspectors or title people,
everybody's got
escrow,
somebody.
attorneys.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that instead of just making the calls to make the calls to say I made the calls, right?
Right. Right.
I'm really hoping that you'll just sit down before you make those calls and understand what is, think about it. What is my desired outcome? What do I want from this? And
Mhm.
then make sure when you ask for that referral that you're pointedly asking
That's it.
or the specific result that you're looking to get.
That's
And
right.
if we do that, like Steve said, his business or his referrals, they
Oh,
quadrupled, right?
oh,
Because
100%.
because
Hey,
you're
hey,
absolutely go
true
ahead.
story, true
Yeah.
story. Hey, and by the way, we got to do this. If you're saying, well, hey, Steve, you only told me one of the scripts, go to freedomplanningcall.com. Our team at the Marketing Animals, we'll walk you through the scripts,
Mm,
and we can help you with it. So just go to freedomplanningcall.com if you're saying, hey, I'd love the scripts that we know convert.
yeah.
Uh, we'll help you with it. Kristen, Jen, myself, Frank, one of us will jump on a call. We'll be on a computer. You can screenshot it, literally grab them, and then you could work it into your business.
Hey there, if you're loving the tips so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button and then click on the bell as well so you never miss out on more cool free tips coming your way. And also, would love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think or what you want to see next.
Hey, you were talking about strategically asking for the business.
Mm,
Sharon Wofford is a part of the network, which, to be clear for everybody, Frank and I get the privilege of leading the network, which is powered by Success Mortgage Partners. And so we are sales leaders with the network at Success Mortgage Partners, and Sharon Wofford is a part of our group. Love her to death. She joined us, Frank, about 100 days ago, 120 days ago,
yeah.
maybe between 3 and 4 months ago. And man, first thing we did was got things off her plate. Second thing she did was understand how many referrals she got laser focus on how many referrals she needed every day. And for her target's 100 relational leads a month, 4 leads a day to close 18 to 22 units a
Hmm.
month. And she's closing, I think last month she closed 12. She'll probably hit, I mean, she's certainly tracking to break 20. There's no doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the reason I tee all that up is after she got things off her plate, which is what we helped her with, her number one target was asking for the business.
Mm,
And she told me, Frank, last month she hit 88 leads, almost
nice.
doubled her leads.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is when we're talking about strategically asking for the business, listen, and this was, I mean, when I asked her about it, her and I were texting on Friday, and she texted me, hey, I ended up with 88 leads last month. And one of the things she said, like, I want to say, I don't want to get it wrong. It was more than 11, but maybe it was like 14 leads
Mm,
came strategically just from her past clients.
mm,
I mean, like in a week. And
yeah.
it was because she was calling the past clients with a very clear ask for the business. And then she did like a realtor presentation at an office and didn't just do it, but asked for the business.
Yeah.
Bro, she got like over 10 leads over the course of a week from following
Yeah.
up from
From
a
those agents.
presentation.
Yeah.
And so whenever I think about it, it's like, look, see, we think, you know what it is, Frank? They're like, hey, they know who I am. They know what I do. I'm a loan officer. It's not enough.
Mm.
If you're not asking, you're not getting.
Yeah. No,
And
it's,
so,
I'm so
and
glad you
Sharon's
said
such a
that.
great example of that, man. Because our whole deal is breaking that 100 leads a month to get over 20 units a month, and
Yeah.
we're going to do it in short order. So,
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you said that. It's not enough to just, hey, they know what I do. I mean, they
yeah,
see
think,
me
hey,
on
keep me in
Facebook.
mind.
They're
Yeah.
keeping me in mind. If they need something, they'll reach out to me. It's
Mhm.
not enough. It's not enough, especially, and you could look, we talk about markets all the time. We of course are in control of our own destiny, no matter what the market is, right? But the truth is, if you've got a super hot, overwhelming market, you might get some business just because you got your face on Facebook, right? But if you're in a normalized market like we are now, like a regular old, good old market, that's not enough. It's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that coupled with making the phone calls with strategic,
That's it.
ways to ask for the business, that's what's going to make it work. That
Hey,
all, every time. It only works
yeah.
every time.
Hey,
Yeah.
and let,
So,
let me encourage you with this too.
yeah.
There's two things, but one of them I was even just thinking about right now, and I can't not say it. In the Alliance, which is the coaching side of what we do, probably the biggest thing yesterday we had. Tuesdays are my big coaching calls, so yesterday I had all my coaching calls, and one of the things that we just keep really laser focusing in on, Frank, and I would challenge every one of our listeners to do this with it. There's five things we measure, especially as we ramp up in the first 8 weeks of the Alliance. Um, but one of them is, how many talk tos did you have, and how many times did you ask for the business?
Hmm.
So I'll just tell you all. Well, I won't tell you all five. You want to learn more, go to freedomplanningcall.com. We'll
Hmm.
help you with it. But two of them, Frank, are the number of talk tos I had today. And then what you've got to do is track the number of times I asked for the business when I was on the phone. And Frank, can I tell you this? It is shocking, like how, like in the very beginning of the Alliance, I kid you not, what was it? A week ago, I was on a call, 57 talk tos in a week. The loan officer had like 9 asked for the business.
9.
Dude, it was and I'm like, all right, that's our biggest opportunity. And guess what? This week it's like 57, and it was, I don't know, maybe 45 talk tos and 45 asked for business. Well, the fifth thing we ask is how many leads you get last week. And the number was double digits. And it's
Mm.
like, well, of course, because you pulled in the gap, because conversations aren't enough. And so
No.
that, I think that's really the takeaway for everybody listening today. Make sure that if you don't measure anything else, number one, learn the 2 or 3, 4 scripts that it takes.
Mm.
Dude, you can use it in every area of your business.
Mm.
Number two, track the activity. How many talk tos, how many asks for the business? Number three, if there's a gap, ask yourself, what would I need to do different to make sure that I ask for the business every time? And look, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you what I've done. Frank, this is what I used to do because I was not good at asking for the business every time.
Mm.
As I was training myself to get better, you know what I'd do, Frank? I'd hang up and I'd say, oh, bro, I forgot to ask for the business. All right. Call
Call him
them right
back.
back. Hey,
Yep.
Frank, Steve Kyles, my man.
I
Hey,
forgot to
hey,
ask you something.
exactly what I would do. Listen, I'd say, hey, bro, I know we just hung up. I got a sticky note on my computer that says ask for the business every time. And listen, man, I totally forgot to ask for the business. But here's what I want you to know. What's really cool, and I would say this to Brandon or Oscar or Lisa, my partners, everybody. And it'd be like, hey, listen, but here's what's really cool. If you know I'm doing it for you, when I call your borrower, I'm going to ask for the business every time because what I'm known for is helping my agents make more money.
Mm.
This is
Mm.
how we do it.
Mm.
Hey, gotta ask you, bro, who'd you run into this? Like literally, who do you have today that
Mm.
I can help you get pre-approved to make sure it's a good use
Mm.
of your time?
Mm. Mm.
And I know as silly as it sounds, the more we gamify prospecting, the more it's just like, dude, you're a pro.
It's just
And
fun,
that's
man.
what people
Yeah.
will say. They're like, Frank, you're a pro. Like
Mm.
to call back because you didn't ask for the business, you're teaching me that you got a process
That's
to
right.
prospecting.
That's
And
right.
guess what? If you're asking me, you're asking them. We're all going to make more money.
That's
Let's go.
right. That's how it works, man.
Hey, the non-sales people will hate it. The real business people will love it.
Right. They'll totally get it and they'll appreciate it. Yeah. Hey
Oh
man,
yeah, man.
let's get out of here. I love it.
Hey, yeah.
Freedomplanningcall.com.
I love.
Freedomplanningcall.com. So
Hey,
yeah.
and let me do this. And I know we don't normally do two call to actions, but also, we did bring up Sharon. And if you want to know more about the network, jump on a call with Frank.
Yeah,
We'll
frankcall.com.
get some stuff off your plate. So if you're interested in coaching, freedomplanningcall.com. If you're interested in the network and what we're building at Success Mortgage Partners, and you want to take a look inside, get on frankcall.com and Frank will walk you through what we're doing. So
Absolutely will. Yeah.
let's do it.
Frankcall.com. So
Let's do it, man.
all right, let's go ahead and get on out of here. Steve, always a pleasure, man. I
Great
hope you guys got a lot
conversation,
out
man.
of today. We'll catch up with you guys later. See you later. Adios.
See you.